Awesome. Oh my gosh, Katie, Les. Oh my gosh, yes.
Hi.
Hi, Katie. Hi, Kyla.
Hi.
Leslie. Oh my gosh.
Hi there. Hi.
Who is
Hi.
you?
My kids.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So
Okay,
cute.
this is amazing.
Hi. I'm going to silence my
Katie, I just muted you. Oh my gosh, it's adorable.
Yay, now
Everyone's saying hello. Hi, Cassie. So I'm going to press mute. Cassie, I'm muting you. I have to keep you guys on mute just because I get some weird feedback during our training. But when we chat, I will unmute you guys. Chris and I are so excited for this call. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have to just change, because this is being recorded, I need to make sure this is set to speaker view. So hold on one second, guys. Okay, cool. Chrissy, ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 5.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. Hi, guys. This is our final training of the Ignite Your Light series. Can you believe it?
I can't. I'm very sad about it.
I know. Like it flew right by. It just flew by. I want to honor each and every one of you guys, as we love to do on every call. We know the commitment, the dedication it actually takes to show up in a group like this. And oh my gosh, thank you all who have been sharing your homework. I go through and I just can feel the energy coming off each and every one of them. You guys are so brave and so courageous. If you have not done the homework, don't feel bad if you're brand new to the group. I think Monica was just added in today. Go back and enjoy the last 4 days. Just catch up. The group will still be open. We're still here to support you. But for those that have been rocking it, congrats.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love the homeworks. I have to tell you, that's my favorite part as a teacher, is like, let me just see what they did for their homework. And it's just so inspiring that all of you guys are being authentic and open. I mean, Les shared some beautiful stuff today in the group. Katie's been open. You guys are really just putting yourselves out there, and that vulnerability is what changes the world. So showing up real and raw in that safe space. Remember that when you start leading your own clients and you start running your own businesses, that vulnerability is so powerful.
It truly is. Yeah. So we want to hear from you guys on day 5. What has been your biggest takeaway over these last few days? We would love to hear. Anyone want to write in the chat box?
Yeah, let's put them in the chat box, guys. Let's share. What was your biggest? I know Katie's driving, so Katie, do not do this, Katie. Hi, Monica. Oh my gosh. I love seeing you guys.
So what has been your biggest takeaway so far?
We got, hey, Leslie. Oh, wait, she's actually, never mind. I was going to call on you and ask you the question, but I see you're talking to somebody else. Are you good? Oh, no, she's like, bring it. Leslie, what was your biggest takeaway?
I think part of my biggest takeaway, I had so many takeaways, so it's hard to just pick one. But my biggest, I think, right now would be that my fears are not my own. That's something that I recognized last night, really, was that these fears that I have are all fears of the adults in my life that when I was little. So they're not my own, and I don't have to live that story anymore.
Oh, I love that. Good for you. That is so juicy.
Yeah, good for you. And that's one of the biggest thing. I mean, the only thing that we can truly fear is the fear, and that fear doesn't exist. And what is not true, it just isn't real. So it's so beautiful when we can actually come around and dance in these fears. Like I know Leslie has gotten so great at dancing in them, not feeling that they're negative or that they're holding her back, but actually going into them and finding the lesson. And this past week for you, girl, has just been incredible. So congratulations.
Leslie, you've been such a powerhouse, putting yourself out there, and like really doing the work. Such a success. Awesome. So incredible.
Cassie says, my biggest thing from this challenge is that I can see myself opening up more.
Yeah,
How
Cassie.
beautiful. How beautiful.
Cassie is a beautiful example of like really stepping into, just like Leslie, like doing the work. She's actually, Chris, I don't know if you know, Cassie is one of my students in the Brand New Me course.
Awesome.
And she's blossomed in just such a beautiful way. And it's so amazing. I love it.
That's so cool.
Good job, Cassie.
Anna, feeling okay, being uncomfortable and moving through it. Yeah, that's the way we do. That's awesome.
Good job, Anna.
You know, I'll tell you what I've learned over the last 4 days is that I can be in a circle of women just like you and show up with my guard down and shared lists like we did. Like the love list was easy for me. The receiving me list was a little bit more of the challenging one for me. Letting go of the fears. I love that stuff. I do that every day when I write in my journal. But what I found interesting was when I actually tuned in, it was the receiving me one, and feeling free enough to post it in a group that I knew no judgment was coming back was incredible for me. It was such a growth for me.
Yeah. The analogy I always give for clients with this is like, your growth is such a sacred space, no matter where you're doing it. Anytime as a human being you're growing, it's a sacred moment, and it's really important that safe space is created. Like, imagine a baby, like Katie has her beautiful little child back there in the backseat. I think there's one. I only see one. But when we're parents, like, we create safe spaces for our kids to grow. Like when they walk, right, and they stumble, do we like yell at them and go, oh man, you took 2 steps and you should have taken 4, and like beat them up? No, we create these safe, nurturing environments for them to grow and get comfortable with the shift. And that's really what I think I loved about this group, was like, we all came in energetically just deciding that was what this was. And it was beautiful.
Yeah. So does anybody have any questions right now that they feel they need still some support with? I know finances was one. Money was a topic that kind of is a through line through the group. So we can touch on anything that you guys want today. Today was really, we wanted to take this time to celebrate you guys and really make sure that we're tying it up together for you so you feel like you have had your breakthrough. And we're going to share something really exciting with you, but we really want to hear, what do you feel right now that you need more support with?
Yeah, and if you guys want to do this outside of the chat, feel free, if you're struggling with something and need your voice heard, to raise your hand and I can unmute you guys. Do not be afraid. Anyone still feel like they're struggling? Who's coming up on money blocks? Anybody? Ooh, Katie.
Yeah.
Katie, can you shake your head if I can call on you? Can I call? Hey, what's going on?
Hi, okay. Something interesting. I had my friend join the group and do it with me, and we've been going through like just a transformation process as well, just within our personal lives together for a couple years. And she pointed something out on my list when we did the receiving me list that, I really didn't think much of it, but then when she pointed it out, it was kind of her knowing me and knowing my situation with maybe like some financial issues and money blocks and stuff like that, is that, I did grow up where money was always stressful, and my mom was a single parent, and that was always like the cause of her stress. And so I always told myself, like, the only thing I ever wanted to do was not be like her when it came to that, right? Well, then she kind of guided me into some things, of course, as a very young adult that weren't good, and left me in a really hard financial situation that I can't get out of currently. And there's really no way out until I just do what I have to do to pay it. Okay, so when I wrote that list, I had wrote in one part of that I had an abundance of time, money, and freedom, except I didn't write the word money. I put a money sign. And she said that when she read my list, that that stood out to her because she's like, you won't even say the word. And she's like, maybe you didn't mean it that way, but the more that she said that and I thought about it, the whole time I was making that list, it took me almost to the end of the list to even write that, because every time I thought about it in my head, like, yes, that's what I want, I thought that was selfish. So that was like huge for me to realize that, like, I'm still struggling a lot with thinking that I deserve it, and that it's not selfish of me to want to have an abundance of money. And so I just struggled really hard with that. Like, no matter how many times I revisited that, or that someone's told me, you know, it's not about you having it, it's not selfish because you can help other people. I still am, like, obviously having this subconscious block. And it took her saying that for me to realize, hey, I was thinking that the whole time.
Yeah.
So that was really significant for me with that list.
I just feel like, I just feel so deeply connected to I could just tell the way that you're talking about this, like, this is so deep in you. Like, this is so uncomfortable for you to talk about. And I just, like, I feel pulled to just tell you, like, I love you. This is a safe space. And thank you so much for sharing it. Because I think, you know, a lot of girls here can definitely relate to that pain of, like, money and spending it on yourself is selfish. Chris, do you want to take this one?
So first, I deeply honor you for even writing this down on your list and for looking at it. You know, we just led a very strong team call last night for our essential oil team on this topic of money and unhooking from these stories. And the beautiful thing about money is it's just energy. But what's fascinating to me and to everyone else on the line can relate, like, can you show a hand who has ever felt this way that Katie is feeling? Yeah. Who has felt that maybe they don't deserve to earn more money, and maybe they saw their parents struggling and they thought that it was because of them. Maybe they have this negative relationship with money because of what they saw with their parents. Now, see, as a little child, when we're so, like Katie, with your child there, you know, as a mom now, what you say and what you do, they're going to pick up. And so, like we were saying on our team call last night, it's like we're carrying backpacks around full of rocks, and it's heavy every day. And these backpacks are all these beliefs that we have about ourselves or what we're thinking about money. Money is a big one. Money is a big one because we need it as humans here on this planet, right? But as a little girl, by you saying, I don't want to be like them, and you're trying to go the other way, that's like the whole shadow side coming up, right? Like, this is where the ego really starts to flare, and you're going to really want to unhook from this. So if anybody else is feeling this challenge around money, money is such a great lesson for us to up-level in all areas of our life, because we can actually tangibly make more of it when we know that we're growing. You know, I was talking to Ryan about this the other day. We're like, how fascinating is money? Like, nowadays, you get everything deposited into your bank. Will you ever go into the bank? I don't know. Do you go into the bank and take out, like, all of it cash? No, it just gets circulated around. It's just a number on a screen, or that gets printed out on a sheet of paper. It's so interesting, but we put so much charge around it, and it could be as big as we want it to be. We could have as much money as we want it to be. The only thing that stops us is what we're thinking or making it mean about us. So many times as kids, we grow up thinking that it's bad for us to have the things that we want because our parents can't afford it. And so now that we're in our 20s or 30s or 50s, we're like, oh, this is so hard. I want to break free. And Katie, I'll tell you this, there is this huge knowing in your soul that you can actually break free from this because you are here. If you didn't think it was possible, you would not be on this line today. You would actually not be in this collective with all of us vibrating at this same energy. So the best thing we can do with money to rewrite this story is, first and foremost, get clear on what it is that's holding us back from making more money, just like Katie did now by jumping on the line and sharing how she felt, what money was like when she was a kid, how she's feeling about it and what she wants to do differently about it. Does anybody else want to share what they're feeling about money or what they witnessed growing up?
Yeah, Les, I can unmute. There you go. Unmuted you.
So my parents are a little different. My grandparents came over from Russia, and so they had nothing, like literally nothing. My parents worked so hard. My dad, the entire, like to this day, they have money, but they won't spend $2 extra on something because it's more. Like and it frustrates me because I'm like, just, we're here. You want it, buy it. It's $2. Like, you have it. If you don't have it, I'll give it to you. Like, they will go all across town looking for the best deals. I'm like, oh my God, it's exhausting. But every time my mom, like, I forget what group I was in when I said it, like, I can't have a conversation with my mom without money coming up, like, at all. Like, and it could be, oh, this costs this much, and it's, oh my God, it's expensive. Or even when I started my business, she was appalled at how much I was charging. Appalled. She's like, you can't do that. She's like, you're not, no, you can't do that. Immediately, I was like, oh shit, maybe she's right. Maybe she's right. I'm like, no, charge your worth. But to this day, she's like, all right, she's like, I think you're still charging too much. I think you are. Like, how do I tell her? Fuck off. Excuse my language.
Oh no, I love that you just cursed. That makes me so excited. Can I take this one? Okay, so I love this because my mother and I have a very, I don't want to say rocky relationship, but we have a rocky relationship. We have stuff from our past that, just we're not the best of friends, but we love each other. My mom with everything. We were on a boat this weekend. And I've had this tattoo. It's Moana. For those of you who do not know, this is a Moana tattoo. She's on the ocean. There's a big wave. I love it. It's so symbolic, right? Middle of nowhere. My mother says, I forget. What did you say you paid for that? How much did you pay for that? I'm like, Mom, like, I don't even remember. And this was like 6 months ago. My mother is the person that I would go to talk about business stuff, not realizing that all I really wanted was her approval. And when I really looked at why I was going to her, I remember when I hired my first coach, and that month when I invested in my business, I made back $10,000 within the first month. And that was such a change for me. And I wanted to celebrate it with her. I had gone from $200 in my bank account to a $10K month. It was huge. And I called her and said, Mom, you're not going to believe it. My business is taking off. I am so proud of myself. It's all because I invested and I hired a coach. And she said to me, well, how much was the coach? And I'm like, no, Mom, that's not the point. She's like, no, but how much was it? So here's what I realized, and this is what I'm going to tell you, that the issue is not how your mother reacts, and you can never change that. Right. The issue, I think, becomes, why is it that we feel as adults that we still need to go to our parents for that I'm proud of you, love and acceptance that we may not have gotten for quite some time.
Because I never got it.
Yeah.
And I'm an only child, and I was like kind of just put in the corner as like, there she is.
Yeah.
There she sits.
And that's really what it's about. That's really what it comes down to. So I think, part of learning how to love yourself and really aligning with self-love is learning how to set energetic boundaries with the people who just don't make you feel good. And really getting clear about being able to stand in your own confidence and because you've taken this beautiful leap now and you've enrolled in the self-love method, that really stepping into that space of, I'm going to do the work for myself, putting those boundaries up with those people you love. And what you'll find is those relationships will grow. My mother and I have the best relationship we've ever had now because I've removed those things from the table. And so getting clear with your mom and saying, look, I don't want to talk about my business anymore with you. I want to love you and be present with you. And let's talk about you. What's going on in your life? What's happening with you? And making that switch will start to change the way you show up in that relationship with your mom. And you'll be able to love her for who she is. And you'll be able to love yourself for who you are.
I have definitely noticed that as I'm changing, I would say in the past 2 years, as I've really like dug deep and done the work, our relationship is so much better. But they live for money. Like they live for saving money. Like they have all this money. They're like, you can't spend it. You can't. It took my dad 3 years to buy a new car. 3.
Yeah, see, I took on that a lot. Chris, I don't know about you and just your parents, maybe you'd like to share too, but like for me, I remember when I was in $60,000 debt at one point, $60,000. And I remember thinking to myself, why do I think this is bad?
Right.
Well, because my parents taught me.
Yeah.
You know, why do I think that $70,000 debt is worse than $60,000 debt? It's really the same. I mean, 60, 70, it's all pretty terrible. But like, where did I come up with this idea that I couldn't take some of that money to invest it back into myself? And that was my parents, because they never did anything for themselves.
Right.
So Chris, I don't know if you want to talk about that too.
The way I was raised is my parents never made a lot of money until I was I was moved out already. I was in my 20s, late 20s, and they finally started doing really well. My parents have always had the habit of spending all they have. Not necessarily, we would never go on trips, but they love to eat out. They love experiences. And so I was always, as a kid, like, you can't do this, you can't do that, but we would still go out for dinner every Friday night. And I just couldn't understand. So I never really had the whole thing with my parents not wanting to spend anything, because I found they did spend things. But I definitely agree with Lauren. Like, we're always going to go back to get what it is we're seeking, right? So it is never about the money. And I've been in so many groups, you guys. So if I'm crossing over something I coached on yesterday or the day before, I don't remember, but I've been training so much. But it's never about the money. It's never about the money, the relationship with your parents, but everything has to do with what we're seeking from them or what we're thinking about ourselves. If we get heated, if you're getting heated that your parents don't spend the money or whatever, we got to turn this around and personalize it for you. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean about you? Like, so, and this is what we're going to start to dive deeper into on the course. Like, of course, this is something that we actually have to like go into so we can really unhook from. But this is one thing I found about money with my family and me. My nana was actually my biggest trigger. So I can't remember if I told you guys this, but my nana lived for most of my whole life right next door to me, in the house next door. Yeah. So she was over all the time. I spent a lot of time with her. Well, my nana, if you want to know your money beliefs, you just get on the phone with your parents or your grandparents or whoever you can talk to that raised you and just listen to them for a bit. And just yesterday I talked to my nana, and it was ever so eye-opening. She said that people that make a lot of money are shallow, and Chris, you never want to be shallow. And I'm like, oh, jeepers creepers, here we go again. And that's the way I was raised, thinking like all good things are going to come to an end, so why bother? My nana was the first one to tell me, I told you so, Chrissy babe. I told you so. And I'm like, shoot. And every time I'd want to go out and step out a little bit more and something bad happened, boom, there it was. I told you so. I couldn't even get my flipping navel pierced because she wouldn't give me any more presents or money for my birthday. So I was so wound up around being proper to earn money. I had to fit in a box to actually get something in return and get love. So it was fascinating for me to have to unravel all this and reprogram myself. But I quickly want to go back to what Katie said about how she couldn't write the word money and she had to put the dollar sign. And you guys can jump into the chat. I would love to know, what's the first word that comes up when we say the word money?
While you're doing this, I'm going to while we get these lists, I have a client I was working with today. First word is scarcity. That's the first word she said. Oh, Carlos' beach.
Carla.
Love you.
Of course, Carla says beach.
Hey, Heather. Oh my gosh, Heather just jumped on. Yeah, so I had this talk talk with a client today because money is scarcity. And when she tries to sell herself for her value, this one client, and Heather and I were even talking about this today too, but instantly thinks, well, I'm not worth that number. I'm not worth that. It's like the scarcity of value or even of the item itself. There's never enough. Stress speech tool.
These are great. Yeah, mine used to be pain. It was fighting. It was pain. Bills, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hell, if these are the words that come to mind, why would you ever want any of it?
You'll run the other way. So true. You'll run the other way. When I was really, really young, my dad had started to build his business. I think this is where I got my entrepreneurial drive from. Because like I said, I was super young. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to be rich. And I couldn't tell you why. I just knew I knew there was more. And my dad had started a business with a few friends and they failed miserably. Well, if we look back that much more, my dad's dad was an alcoholic. And so every Friday night, my dad would go to the bar with his buddies to talk business. They were always trying to get ahead, and it was a cedar company, so they'd make prepackaged like fences and gazebos and stuff. So every Friday night, and it was just me and my mom, me and my sister are 7 years apart, so I think I might have been like 5, and every Friday, my mom would be so mad that my dad would go out drinking, and my dad would tell us he's talking about business because he's trying to get us ahead as a family. And my mom would just lose her shit every single Friday he'd come home. She'd have to call the bar to see if he was there. And I saw so much conflict over money that I did not want anything to do with it. And I, as a young child, thought I was to blame because my dad would always say, I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for you. And as a 5-year-old, I'm thinking, I want nothing to ever have to do with this. I never want to be the burden on somebody's fighting like this all the time. And I remember one night my dad sleeping in the car because my parents got in such a fight over it. So you can see how, and they didn't know any different. My mom had me at 21. I mean, they were young. So I think that like we can hold on to all this stuff. Like these are the first words that are coming to you. Stress, bills, there's never enough. Like Lauren was saying, that is hard. We're not looking at it like, well, except Carla, beach. You're not looking at it like joy, abundance, thriving, empowerment. If those are the words, I mean, we'd all be millionaires.
Yeah. I had to do a lot of work around this when I started my journey. A lot. I mean, this was like the make or break moment for me. I had an ex-husband who stole all of our money before we got divorced. So it was really hard for me to be very heavy in debt and to have this horrible relationship with an association between love and money, right? A lot of us do this. We have this love and money connection that is so deep. And what I'm going to tell you is we have to be more attached to the vision that we have for our future than we are attached to our current state. In other words, if you're sitting here saying to yourself, well, I'm never going to get where I want to be because look how shitty it is right now. Okay, you're never going to get where you want to be. Mm-hmm. And if I had done like $60,000 is a lot of money to be in debt, guys. It was fucking scary. And what I had to do is I had to sit down and ask myself, why is this bad? Why am I so attached to this? And it was this narrative of being a victim that was so ingrained in my life because I had constantly been that person. And if I wanted to break away from it, I needed to be more attached to the future picture I had for myself and my life. And that has nothing to do with any of these negative words. It has to do with joy, abundance, freedom. Flash forward now, I own a home. And I live a very happy lifestyle, and I get to donate $10,000 this year to the National Association of Mental Illness. I could not do these things if I kept saying, oh, look where I am, it's so bad. I needed to take a leap that detached me from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Les is calling. Let me unmute her. Go ahead, Les.
I just had a quick realization when you said that your husband took off with your money. When I got divorced, I had to pay alimony and like all that crap, and I had to pay him off. My dad's still mad at me for that to this day. Still mad at me for that. Like I hear about it all the time. So that actually I was like, oh, maybe I need to figure out how to deal with that.
Money and negativity, man. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father has a very bad relationship with money because his father was a millionaire. And my dad had a passion for something creative. And he said, I'm going to be a weatherman, my father. I'm going to be a weatherman, Dad. I'm going to be a weatherman. And my grandfather, Italian guy, not approved. My dad got there. He reached that success. He worked on television in the New York market and didn't get the love he needed. And so he became very attached to the idea of the starving artist, right? We all have this archetype, starving artist. My dad, to this day, I've been business coaching him for his website. This month, Chris, you don't know this, I'm going to tell you. This month, he ranked 6 million page views in a week. on his website. 6 million. He's sitting on this gold mine. I said, Dad, what are you doing with this? Create a product, create a coaching program, create something. No, I'm okay.
Oh my God.
Starving artist narrative. So bad. So we got to detach from our parents. Our parents are going to keep us so stuck unless we break away from that.
Yeah. On one of Ryan and I, our coaching calls the other day, he brought up a stat again that I had forgot about, that the average life coach makes $20,000 a year.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? The average, like, $20,000 a year, because they don't believe in themselves enough to go out there. Not that they're not great coaches, it's that they don't believe in that they can earn the money or that they're good enough. And then the average person in network marketing makes like $84 a year. It's crazy. We all have the exact same plan. I mean, we could lay out exactly what you need to do to become the successful life coaches or business owners that you want to be. But the only thing that is actually going to make the difference for you is doing the inner work. And that's what makes everybody so different. That's why you see the 1% of people. So we look at all of us on this line have stories from our past about money. We all do. And we all have these beautiful different stories that are so rich on what we can be sharing with other people and what we can be giving to others. So going back to what we're really seeing here with what's coming up as this trigger right away when we think about money, I want you guys to start to think right now, why this story that you have about money, that it being hard or being stressful or being, I have to go back and read some of the other ones. What were the other ones? Bills, that there's never enough. Why is this actually not true? Why is this not true? Because these are not your stories, right? You're hanging on to mom or dad's stories or grandma and grandpa's stories. The rocks in your backpack aren't yours. And people that are on our Goddess Boss team, bear with me because I know we went through this last night, but it was so powerful.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think what Leslie said last night on our Goddess Boss call was so powerful. It was like, their stories are not my own. That was huge. Like, I wrote it down somewhere in my book, Leslie, because it was just so, you were just so being divinely guided when that came out of your mouth and was shared in the chat. It was beautiful. Their story is not my own.
Yeah. Their story does not define who I am today, but we're letting it. Why are we letting it? So once we see that, hey, this is actually not mine, like, Katie, this isn't this wasn't your fault, right? It's not your responsibility. It's all you have a play in this now is to let it go. And I always like to use like unhooking yourself from something that you can just drop on the side and you can continue walking forward.
I see Leslie has her hand up, so Leslie.
So I've been sitting here thinking about it since you asked. I hope my ear isn't disrupting. But, the question of, so where's your money block now? And Chris, this is probably going to shock you, but I think I have finally figured out where my money block is sitting at right now. And that is putting the $ and the word money and creating a number to my worth. Ouch.
Yeah. This is a hard one for a lot of people. I'm coaching a client right now who has established her prices that she's going to offer for sales. And she did some trial calls with people to get a feel for how she was going to market herself. I didn't ask her to do that, but she did it. And she said when she said the numbers that she was worth, like it was, I think she wants to charge $3,000 for a 3-month package, which is, reasonable. And she felt this feeling here when she said it. She's like, oh, that doesn't, am I worth that money? That just feels weird. Do you guys feel that way about your worth when you start selling your coaching programs or think about stepping into leadership? Is it like this feeling like, I don't know if I'm that valuable?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, that's all self-love, man. That's all self-love, baby. No strategy is going to change that. That's all self-love. If you come into a relationship with a potential client and you offer your price and you say, yeah, $3,000, you're not just saying a number. You're energetically passing something along to that person across the phone from you or the video from you. And you're saying, this is the energy I'm giving you. And if that energy isn't full of love and confidence and leadership, that person on the other end is going to sit and say, well, I don't know if this feels right. This is the limbic part of your brain that is only focused on emotion. I don't know if that feels right. Yeah, because you just gave me something that you didn't feel right with. So this is why people get stuck with sales and have a hard time selling their worth, because they don't feel like they're worth that number.
Amy says, I feel like if it's the right price aligned with you, it should feel good, right? Yeah, so this is great. Depending on what your guys' income goals are per month and depending on what your businesses are, being in coaching and being in sales for a long time, I understand that we do need to live in the stretch. There's a gap right now from where you are to where you want to be, right? Let's say if you're only making $2,000 a month, but your dream is to make $10,000 in the next 3 to 6 months, what's in this gap? So then if you're aware of what it is that you want, and I want you guys to all remember this, it's okay to want what you want. It's okay to want $10,000 a month. If you're making $10,000 a month, and if anybody has any illusion around this thinking that it's not the right thing to do, I want you to grab your journal and I want you to write out how this is going to impact your life and the people around you and their lives. Because sometimes we just need to look at what it's actually going to do for us and others that allows us to feel that love and connection back to it. Money is a great thing. When good women have good money, they do really, really amazing things. So from where you are, if you're $2,000 a month, you want to get to $10,000 a month. To fill this gap, if you guys are selling coaching packages, or if you're in network marketing and you're only selling the small kits, we want to live in the stretch. So we want to bump it up a little bit more. Because if you're only making $2,000 to get to $10,000, you're only charging $250, say, a month for coaching, it's going to take you a lot of time to get to $10,000. And I'm going to tell you from my own experience, the people show up for your work, no matter what your business is, when they're paying a little bit higher. One, because they're invested, so they're going to show up and they're going to take it seriously. And two, whenever there's a value, like an exchange like that, it's like programmed that we will absorb the information more. So if you think your prices feel good where they are, as a coach, I would always suggest you to stretch it $50 more. I want you to live in that uncomfortable space. If we feel good all the time, I will say this, if it feels like, okay, right now I'm charging, I don't know, $7.99 for my coaching per month. And I really want to charge $1,000 or $9.97. Does that feel good? Yeah. Yes, it feels really, really good. Do I think I can do it? Well, maybe I'm more comfortable with the $9.97. If I said, okay, I'm at $7.97, I want to charge $9.97. Oh, $9.97 feels horrible. Nope, don't want to do it. If there's a pull somewhere, but it's your mind telling you no, but if your heart's like, yeah, that's really cool, then that's where you need to go. That's where that stretch is. So then the next person you talk to, it's going to be $50 more until you work that way right up to that next level. And it will work by going like just very, very slightly. So your brain can adjust and so can your heart at the same time.
Yeah, it's always this question of why does it feel uncomfortable, right? And I think 9 times out of 10, when I have a client who's trying to charge a price and the price feels uncomfortable, it's really more about her feeling insecure about her value and less about the number. The analogy I like to give for this is, you ladies, most of you might know this, I love Target. Target's like my jam. I go there when I really need a pickup. I love shopping in the dollar section. It's just so fun, right? Bunch of stupid stuff. I buy a dress at Target. All right, that's cool. Feels good. You ever buy a really fancy dress, like that dress that you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I should buy this, but it's really pretty and I just love it and it's calling me. And then you go home and you put it on and you're like, fuck, I feel amazing. It's because you have just grown a bunch to be that woman that deserves to wear that expensive dress. And it's the same thing with coaching. If you walk around saying, hey, my coaching is buy one, get one free, or it's 20% off, energetically, your client's not going to come into that journey with this, man, I got to grow to be this woman. That's why all the big leaps that you ladies take in your life that are really big and you have to stretch and really like find the courage to do it, you feel so empowered once you make that decision, because it's like, man, I'm going to change my life. And I know it because I just made this big choice that I would have never have made a year ago or the year before that. And it's all about that stretch. So going back to what I think it was Amy who said this, it should feel good. But at the same time, if you're stretching, it's always going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's always going to feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. I know I get this all the time with people in that want to build their network marketing business. And I'm like, I just want to get them started. I actually had a call with a dude today. It was so funny. We had a private call. He's in network marketing. And he said, I just get people started on the $19 kits. I'm like, that's not going to serve you. That's not going to serve them or you. I said, how much is your team growing? Well, no, it's not. Well, no, it's not, because I don't have much of an investment. So what can we do to stretch it? And he said, I really want this flow thing that all you guys talk about.
I love flow. Flow is the best. I have so many gray hairs from my not flow days. Can we just talk about this? Like, at my age, I should not be having this many gray hairs. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is
flow is so much better.
I got these little streaks put in, and my hairdresser said, do not pick out your grays. Because I'm like, I want something to ease in, and I can see them all. I'm like, I want to pick them. And she said no. So she knows how many are there. And I'm like, I just want to pick them up. Okay. It feels so uncomfortable. And then afterwards, it's just so fucking amazing. Yes, Carla, it is. Like, and this is how we grow. Our soul needs to grow when we're a little uncomfortable, right? So this is why on day one, we got really uncomfortable. We brought all this awareness to the surface so we could grow. Now look at the conversation we're having today. You guys have taken so many leaps. You've absorbed so much. You've released so much. And now you're coming to the call and you're like, okay, I'm ready. Like, what do I need to do to actually get through this now? So now that you know, and you can take yourself through this journey, right after this next call, this is something that we go so much deeper into with the self-love method, is you really want to lay out all the stinking funky ass beliefs. You got to get clear on them. And then we want to write out why they are actually not true. Whose are they? Who put that on you? Who instilled them on you? And why are they not true? Where is your power here? Because right now, this is the thing in sales. If anybody wants to know anything about business and sales to do really, really well in this, somebody is always enrolling somebody. You're either enrolling me or I'm enrolling you. It's the same thing in your relationships. You're going to be enrolling your spouse all day long. Same thing in network marketing. Somebody's always enrolling somebody. It's the same thing with your ego and your heart or love. Somebody's always enrolling. So are you going to let the ego enroll through these old stories that you're holding on to from mom or dad? Or are you going to let your truth, your light, your love enroll you and follow that? That takes courage. That takes massive courage to surrender every day and trust that your light is on point and you're going to do it. Take self-love.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've been getting a lot of questions about the self-love program because it's very much an integral part of Chris and I's own journey, this self-love concept. I spent a great deal of my life looking for certain things: love, acceptance, stability, safety, security. These were things like I never had growing up, probably until my early 20s, late 20s actually. And I thought that if I had all those things, then I could finally feel good about myself, right? We kind of make this list of like, what are all the things I need to feel good about my life? And I made this really long, big list, and I still have it. It was this big, in-depth list of everything Lauren needed in her life so that she could finally feel good about herself. And what I realized was I was actually going about things backwards, where if I could just fix what I was feeling about myself and my worth, suddenly it would expand and go outward, and everything else in my life would realign. And that's really no joke and no BS. Like, that is what happened. So I started doing this real deep inner work on myself, and I started asking, who do I want to be? What values do I have? What type of leader do I want to be in this life? What is my purpose here? What am I going to do if I die 10 years from now, never having accomplished any of that? And suddenly it was like everything else started to realign in my life. And so that's become this system of teaching. And what the great thing about the coaching course that we do is that this isn't just about you guys. You'll come out of that program and you'll be able to teach it to your clients and pay it forward. And that's really what the journey is. It's about doing the inner work and shining your light for everybody else.
Yeah. The reason that we chose, when we sat down and looked at what was coming through us and the message we could get to more women and where we see the hole in the game, is this piece. You guys all have a business or a dream, but there's a reason that's stopping you from either getting it on the ground and really rocking and rolling, or earning the income you desire. And I really believe that we're here to earn the income we desire. And when I peel it all back, and I get so emotional when I think about this, because when I was so broke, you guys, like so broke. Ryan had started in our network marketing company. We didn't have the money, and we got a government check because we were on, we didn't make enough money. So the government actually gave us some tax money back, and it was the money that we were supposed to put towards our rent. And it went towards, Ryan put it towards the payment to get started. And I remember thinking, oh my God, all I want to do is I just want to be free. I just want to speak my voice. I just want to feel enough. And at the same time, I was riddled with all this depression and anxiety on how I looked and how I felt about myself, that Ryan really started taking off in the business. And I wanted to be a part of it so bad. And all I wanted to do was hide. And this was when my skin was horrible. And I can remember that the first event we were invited to go to for our company, he's like, we both can't afford to go, but we'll make it happen if you want to go. And all I kept thinking about was like, no, I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, no, I'm not going. And that was the day that I decided that I was 29 years old, and I'm like, I need to change some things. And that was the first day I walked into the mirror, and I actually took all my makeup off. Like, I would cake my makeup on. I would go to the gym with it. And I remember saying to myself, trying so hard just to say, I love you, Chris. And the words couldn't even come out. And now when I look back and I think about how much has changed, I would never have been on this call today. I would never have the brand, the website, none of it. I wouldn't have the bank account that I have today if I didn't finally stop this bullshit excuse of not being good enough that I learned from everybody else that was teaching me that. I would not be here. Yeah. So it was that first day that I actually had to look at where I could honor myself completely and fully and rewrite everything to create the foundation. And it comes down to you and your love, and you are enough, and you have everything within it to succeed. That's why we created this.
You're making me cry over here.
I know. I get
like, oh my God, Chris, I didn't know that about you.
This is such a big piece for me. I know, right?
Oh, it's incredible.
We get so caught up in thinking that we're not capable of being our highest self for some reason. It's like we always think there's something happening outside of us, but it's not. It's happening within us. And we're all striving for something, right? And that something is our truth. Because your truth is saying you got this. Like, Jackie, Carla, Asia, you fucking got this. And we're just holding on to too much shit. So the self-love method officially starts July the 31st. You guys are the first to know that the doors are open for you guys.
Yes.
And we have a handful of amazing women already in there. This is a 12-week program that is actually very beneficial. You guys are jumping in now because it's the first time running it. So it's live. It's live. And we're diving deep. We're diving deep. The first month is all about acceptance, right? Like, where can you really accept what it is you want and fucking own that, and who you are and what that looks like?
Getting clear about those goals that you want, not just about the numbers, but how they feel.
How they feel. Exactly. Second month is all about surrender. We're handing over everything that is not true, and we're reprogramming everything from square one. We're taking it and releasing and unhooking. We're teaching you everything that both Lauren and I have taught with On Ourselves, and to hundreds, if not thousands. If I actually think about it, thousands of people.
I looked at my email list last night. It's pretty big.
Yes, thousands of people that we get to teach this, with groups that we run, everything. And people, I am blessed that I've been able to help many, many people hit 6-figure incomes in their business by doing this work.
This part of the course, this second month, is all really about, I think I would just sum it all up with one quote from Albert Einstein, which is like, we cannot fix problems with the same state of consciousness that we had when we created them. And this is all about rewiring you guys to think differently about what you want and how to get it. Because clearly, if you're coming into a journey, you're coming into it, it hasn't been working. So it's about recorrecting that mindset.
And then the third month's all about manifesting, calling in what it is that you have on your heart that you're so divinely aligned with now. And that's the flow with the call I had today, laying out his flow strategy. It's that flow, tapping into it and getting out there and seeing the results, but not just that force and hustle and icky salesy push. It's the attraction, the feel good, the living in your truth.
Yeah, the salesy push was the biggest thing that I was like, I stepped into my business and I thought that was how I had to be, and it was so wrong. And rather than the shoulds, learning how to manifest. I think I was starting to talk to Megan about this today. Manifesting is an art form. It's all about the flow, and it's redesigning your strategies and techniques as a business owner or as a human to get what you want in life. And most of us do it wrong. Even those who watch The Secret 40 times do it wrong. It's manifesting. We don't get we don't attract what we want. We attract who we are. And that's really important. If you're going to change your life, you have to align with the version of yourself you want to be.
Yeah, I agree. So for those of you that do get started within the next 24 hours, we have a bonus. The bonus is you get the self-love starter kit, which is amazing. It's beautiful.
I think Les filled it out. Did Les fill it out already? Somebody filled it out already. Bridget filled it out.
You also get a bonus Q&A call with this because the program starts on the 31st. So for whoever gets started within the next 24 hours gets that. That's going to be very, very rich and in-depth and so good. And then also, you guys, we have a 5-payment option right now. So the price for the program is $14.97. For the next 24 hours, we're doing a 5-payment option for anybody that needs it. And it's $323. I have my sheet here. So I remember $323 a month, or you can do a 3-payment option of $537 as well.
Yeah, we really wanted to honor you guys for going along the 5 days. So for the 5-day Ignite Your Light, we have a 5-payment option, which makes things a lot easier, a lot more comfortable. We want you guys, it's really important when you come into your journey that energetically you're ready to receive things. So I always tell clients, if you're going to make this decision, make sure you come in with celebration and excitement and relief. That is really important. For me, when I make decisions like that, it's always a case-by-case basis. But I remember saying to Ryan, like, no, I need to invest in full and I need to pay it up front because I know if I don't, I will be stressing every month and I don't want that on me. I want the release. And so that for me was the decision to pay it in full. But some people feel that by having the payments, you hold yourself accountable and it makes things a little bit easier.
Yeah. Yeah. You will know what feels good for you. You'll also know if it's the right fit. We're never here to tell somebody that it's going to be a good fit for them if it's not. But if you're on the line and you've been in this program, then it's absolutely the right fit. If there's a gap from where you are to where you want to be, then it's the right fix. We're going to go through and fill all that back up for you and get you to where it is you want to be.
It should feel a little uncomfortable, but very exciting at the same time.
I don't know. I'm so excited that a blessed group of women get to go through this with us and that we're going to change so many lives as a collective. I fucking say this all the time. My light just went out. My light always goes on and off when we're speaking about the right things. I swear. I don't know. It's like for the whole month. I say this all the time, you guys. When we are connected back into our true power, we're going to change the fucking world. It's what we all need. Let's read the comments. Because I'm sure taking the brand new me course, but it changed my life. That's amazing, Kathy. I love that you're on here to share. I'm not sure what's going on with mine, but it's not working right. What's not working right?
Her audio. I think she's talking. Megan.
Oh.
Yeah, she's having some tech issues.
I see. Okay.
Well, we have this recorded, so that's a good thing. Does anybody have questions about the program or reservations or fears coming up that you want to talk about? Like, what are we feeling right now? I know a lot of you ladies have messaged me that you were interested in the program, but you felt this sort of like fear. Do we want to work through it? Everyone looks good. I love it. I definitely feel like I'm going to hit up the casino in New Orleans. Oh, that's right, Asia. You were in New Orleans. I have two clients there. If you see Robin Peacock, tell her I said hi. I don't know. It's a really big place. Robin's one of my one-on-one clients. She's at the summit. I've seen pictures. It looks awesome.
That's so cool. Yeah, I think they're going to try to meet up.
We chatted. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Chatted. Oh, let me. I'm like,
wait, so you met Robin?
There we go. We chatted on Messenger. We were going to try and meet up, but it's been like crazy.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love that this created all these crazy connections. It's so beautiful the way that the system works. I would be there if I could financially fund it, working on manifesting. That just couldn't do it yet. I would be there at Summit.
New people, getting myself out there is what I've been struggling with. The anxiety part of me socially holds me back, and wondered if you had any tips on how to.
Of course.
Fear meeting new people and getting myself out there. So I'm just absorbing this, Cassie.
Yeah, I'm absorbing Leslie.
Yeah. So what's your business, Cassie?
I don't know if Cassie.
Oh, what are you trying to get yourself out there with? Is it a business, or are you just starting your brand?
I think for Cassie, it's just a social thing, a fear of rejection in general that she faces. She's been doing beautiful work. I would just say, I think my advice for you, Cassie, is just learning how to walk with that fear of saying, okay, well, I'm going to jump and I'm going to, what's the worst that can happen when you really think about putting yourself out there? One person doesn't like it. 2 people don't like it. 40 people get their lives changed. So I just always try to align with the people I'm helping or the person I'm trying to connect with rather than everybody. I felt this a lot when I started putting myself out there on social media, just like, what are people going to say? I actually went through my friends list and I removed everybody that didn't feel good when I started my business. Les did the same thing. Yep. I was like, bye ex-boyfriend, bye jerk from high school, bye weird teacher that friend requested me. I mean, I literally went through everybody, removed.
That's so funny. Ryan and I were talking about this. I defriend nobody. Like, I never defriend anybody. I don't know why. I don't pay attention to it. It's so funny. Okay, so you, Cassie, you actually have anxiety when you go to social, when you're out socially then. So what is it about this that makes you anxious? Is it what people are going to think about you if you speak up and say something? Like, what specifically is it? And the reason I'm asking this is I actually talk to a lot of people that fear anxiety or fear that when they go out in social areas that they feel very overwhelmed. But when we actually peeled it back, that wasn't really the case. They were told when they were young that, oh, you're sensitive. 2 people actually in the last week I spoke to, they said the parents would tell them, you're too sensitive, or, don't do this, you're too sensitive. And that would be the repeating thing they would have over. So they were holding on to that until they were in their adult life. So it was very interesting.
Yeah. It's our damn parents. They do everything.
And Leslie with the finances. Yeah, so this is what I'd say to anybody that is feeling like anything around the finances with the course. Let's stop this chatter about money for a second, because we know it's never about the money. So what you guys are thinking then, if you're thinking like, oh, this is going to cost me $1,400 or $1,500, what if we flipped it and looked at what you'd actually get out of it? Why is it going to cost you anything? And this is what I say to everybody that comes and works with me, if it's in a program or one-on-one. Imagine coming in, you come in with a different energy, that it's actually like, what am I able to receive back from this investment of $1,500? Imagine what I can receive.
Leslie's raising her hand. I'm going to unmute her. Go ahead.
Okay. So for me, I know the course is worth it. Like, it's so deliciously divine to me right now. And my calling is so, like, my body and my heart and my soul is screaming to be there. It's the resources I have on hand. So it's not really the money part of it for me, because I see the value in it and I know what I'm going to get out of it in return. But it's finding, it's having the ability to monetize something, anything, even, you know, so I don't like, okay, so because I sat, Chris, you know, I sat in money struggle for so long in my own heart and in my own soul, which is something that I've been like totally breaking through on. But I had to monetize everything that I could monetize just to be able to get through those moments. So now I'm sitting here going, well, shit, damn, this is exactly what I need. I know it's where I need to go. I know it's what I want. I just don't have the resources at the minute to put through there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. This is, it's funny, a quote that's coming to mind. It's never a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness, which is really because now you're not sitting here saying, I don't have anything. You're past that. You're saying, like, how do I find something to make this?
Yes. Yes, please.
So you're looking for the resources, which is good.
Yes.
Exactly where you should be. So you're in the right place, Leslie. That's awesome. Chris, do you want to pick up? I think you have some great advice on this topic.
Yeah. So and this goes for everybody. If your TV broke down tomorrow, if you watch TV, by frig, you would be at Costco buying a new TV if you had to go get a credit card out. So I'm not saying that you have to go do this, but I'm just saying whatever you want, you will go and get if it has a value to it for you. So what I always suggest people do, especially with Leslie is a business. So girl, focus on that, on getting people into your business and focusing on that. Some of you might need to take on just one more private client if you're a coach, or maybe take on your first private client. So instead of writing yourself off, why don't you use this tribe and ask us within the Facebook community, you know, for some tips on how could I post on social media to maybe get a client come in? I need one more client to pay for this. We're happy to support you. I mean, this is what we do. So anything that you guys are really pulled to do, we can help you get through that to the other side. The first thing that I suggest you do is to everybody, I'm not saying this just to you, Leslie, because I do this all myself all the time, is stop saying you don't have enough or that you are not resourceful, right? Just wipe that clean, because you are fucking abundant. You just need to tap into that. You just need to say yes to it. So that's the type of mindset that I would always suggest somebody getting into anything. I mean, even in life in general. Yes, I have this. I just need to look outside the box. That's right. I just need to come up with 3 solutions. So what I would tell you to do is come up with 3 solutions and write them down. What are 3 things that you can do? And then post them in the group or reach out to us and let us know. And then we're happy to help you. Maybe that's you get your first paying client. Maybe you sign up 3 people in your oil business. I don't know, maybe you pick up a couple more webs. I don't know what that looks like for you, but there's always 3 solutions.
Yeah, I think, you know, when I always tell this story, and I think I told it to this group, when I hired my first coach, I charged $10,000 to a credit card that I applied for just so I could hire a coach. It was scary. It was so scary. But I was not. Before that, when I started my business, I pulled all my 401k savings when I walked away from my job. And that was like, everyone told me not to do that. You don't do that. That's the worst thing to do. And I was like, why? It was the best decision of my life because it changed my approach with money. It had me rewrite the narrative. And so, you know, getting resourceful, I think Chris talks about this too. Didn't Chris, you started selling things around your house so that you could pay for the program that you wanted when you started your journey?
Yeah. When I was broke, my first program that I invested into was $527 a month. Ryan thought I was absolutely batshit crazy because we couldn't even pay rent. And I said, no, I'm going to do this. And I sold our stereo system. Ryan drove us to like a city about 25 minutes away for some guy to buy our stereo system. Like we sold everything that we could. And that's how we invested in ourselves at first. Yeah. So I get it. You just, if you feel called to it, you will do what you'll do. Yeah. And I'll say this, the benefits of the program are really going to support you for building this foundation going forward. And for all of you that have joined already, congratulations and welcome. What a great great decision. And we're going to change some really big lives, and we're going to change your life. And that's really important, and the people around you. But not only are you going to learn the steps, there's a community, right? You guys are going to be all in a Facebook community together. More people will be coming in. We have not opened the doors yet officially outside of this group. So we will be doing that. And then more people will be funneling in. So there will be a great community that you can network with and get to know. And also then the live support from us. Like I said, this is the first time running it. So we're filming this live for you guys. So anything you need on the spot, we are right there. In the Facebook community, answering questions just like this, you have our support.
Yeah, our goal is not to get you guys to feel comfortable with yourselves as you are. Our goal is to help you transform your businesses by getting comfortable with this higher version of yourself that exists. And so this is all about growth. This is not a program that's going to make you guys just learn how to be happy where you are and still stay broke and still stay stuck or whatever brought you here. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And for all of you that are like, I just don't know, I want to be a coach, or I want to teach my team how to do this stuff. I just don't know what it is that I can do and teach them, and I don't have the skill set. This is going to be your skill set. We believe that we're here to pay it forward. You take, you apply, you teach. That's how we're going to make the biggest impact possible. Take, apply, and teach. So you're going to really get this. Really get it. Awesome, you guys. If there's no other questions, we will call it a great Friday night and answer all your questions in the Facebook community. And we can't wait to welcome you in.
Yeah, we love all of you. Leslie, Les, Christy, Carla, Kelly, Asia, Katie, Chris.
Laura. Yeah. What a great 5-day, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. This was awesome. We love you. Mwah.
Sending you so much love.